Hi and welcome. This video is to help you guys out. I'm the beginner and I'm here to help you beginning with your Warhammer collections. I'm talking you today through how to build the Necron Warriors. These little fellas that you may have a big stack of. And I've learned the hard way. I've made some massive mistakes in the last few months since I started collecting. And I thought I'd use my fresh experiences to help you guys out. It could be Christmas Day, you just got your first box. You could have got a nice starter set, like this one. Or maybe you got something a little bigger. Either way, I'm going to talk you through how to build your first core warriors for the Necron army. And talk you through the mistakes I made. So what you'll have is some of these, lots of these possibly. On this sprue, this is what this is called, it's called a sprue, there is all 10 of your Necron warriors with their choice of gun and 3 scarabs. Scarabs are little crawly things. I like them. Okay? Now, the mistake I made, I last played Warhammer when I was in high school, like 20 years ago. I had a small force, nothing big, of chaos in old hammer, swords and shields. And back then you could just cut it all out, stick it all together and start painting. Yeah, don't do that. My first set of Necrons, these, I thought that's all I needed to do. Yeah, doesn't he look happy? So I cut out all 10 warriors, thinking, well, just pick a gun, pick a leg, pick a... No, each and every single one is different. If I just get these two and show you, they have slightly different poses. There's them at the same angle. They're slightly different. And if you just cut them all out, they will not fit together. Especially the Necrons. They're quite unforgiving, these figures. So you need to do it one man, one robot, one they at a time. Okay, I'm going to talk you through how to build one today. It's going to take quite a while, but if you follow along as you're doing it, you should be okay. So we'll go over the shoulder. I'll talk you through the equipment you need. And we'll get started. Okay, so I've got my little board down for saving a mess. Normally I do it with newspaper, but it doesn't look nice on camera. I've got my sprue. I've also got my equipment. I've got a lid off the glue, so it's up that. Okay, I've got some clippers. I've got a mould line remover, and I've got a base. Now, depending which set you've just got, you might have a huge bag of bases, a little bag. If you've got the Indomitus box for Christmas, you've got a mountain of plastic. You'll need to figure out exactly which bits do I need. And generally speaking, you can figure it out. If I get something else from the Necron box, from a Necron pile, here we have very, very different models. Massive legs. Okay, it's clearly a different model type. This is Necron Warriors. They look like regular soldiers. You can also look in the corner and you've got a letter to help you know which sprue you're looking at. So ideally you've got some clippers. Now I got these in a beginner's paint set from my local game store. Very, very helpful. Comes with the clippers, comes with the mould line remover, lots of paints and a brush. I thoroughly recommend getting one of these. However, if it's Christmas Day and you can't wait to start, ask whoever's got a toolbox in your house if they've got anything like these. You can use something like this. I don't recommend it. 1, you could damage the models. 2, it's quite dangerous. This is safe and really close to the model and you can get a good cut. This I will explain as and when I use it. So what you're going to need is your instructions. So if you got a starter set, like the Recruit Edition, it'll be this. And in here, it tells you all about the game, but also how to build your models. How to build the Necron Warriors. I'm using the Indomitus box today, so I've got this thing. But the principle remains the same. Okay? So I go into my instruction booklet, whichever one you've got, and I look for instructions for whatever model I'm looking to build. Scorpec Destroyers, Crypto Thralls, Necron Warriors. You know. I also recommend having a pen. That will prove useful. I use Sharpies for everything. because I'm a magician. That's the main purpose of my channel, but I thought this might help some of you out this Christmas. Now, you have a couple of choices. You have two types of weapons, a Gorse Reaper and a Gorse Flayer. Now, if you go down the push fit method, you could chop and change the models as you see fit with the weapon. I don't, so I'm going to today build, let's see. I haven't done any yet with Reapers, so I'm going to make all my one with a Reaper, and I'm going to make the whole set of 10 with a Reaper. Because, as you see here, the other ones I've got Flayers, because I already had some. I also have a choice of head to choose. Otherwise, I need to follow everything that's here. If I cut out the wrong parts and try to force them in, they do not fit. The Necrons are quite unforgiving for that, because the two shoulder pieces need to line up into a socket in the back panel. It's really, really unforgiving. It took me 4 hours to fix a box of 10 when I cut them all out and then start putting them together and realise they don't fit if you do it wrong. The only bit you really can just do as you see fit is really the faces. While it gives you two to choose from, actually most faces will fit with a little twist. And you can always cut off the stump, the little peg on the back of the heads. So the heads, if in doubt, you could manage. But today I'm going to follow it exactly. So what do I do? Well, it says I need sprue B, and I need B1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I need 5 pieces. No, choose. And I want this weapons, I want 3B. So we're looking for low numbers. We've got a 5. Now, there is the first piece I found. 2 and 5. See this little bit here, this little number? I know it's around the wrong way, but you can see it's pointing towards this piece. That tells me it's this one. This one, number 2, is pointing towards this one. So those two parts are for this model. Now what you can do, if you're going to be searching for a while, you could, certainly on your first one, it gets easier once you've done half of the sprue. So now I'm going to cut those 2 bits out. So what you do, with these is, I'm cutting the triangular pieces, okay? I want the peg. If I get right in there, I see this little peggy bit, I need that. I don't need this bit. I need this. So with that arm, I take my clippers, the flat side, I put it against. Now it may not be an easy fit, you might have to jig it in. There it is. Squeeze. Turn it round. Squeeze. Squeeze. And there we go. If I do the chest piece as well, it's really this easy. Okay, they are very easy to cut out. I quite often do this while listening to some music. Get some, I don't know, some Pantera going on. Okay, so there's my first 2 parts. Now I'm going to pause it while I cut out the other bits. Okay, we're back. I've got, oh, I just noticed the camera. We're back. I've got, and what I do is I tick off the bits as I cut them out, just so I keep track. If it's a more complicated model, you want to know if you found all the bits. This has only got 5, but I did a video for Primaris Intercessors, and there was about 8 pieces. So it's good to keep track. Now this next step uses this. This is called a mold line remover. What I do, there's an example. What you can see here is a bit of skanky plastic, and I want that gone. That's where I've clipped it, and it's not quite perfect, the cut. So I use this to just scrape very lightly, take off a tiny bit. So I haven't got any jaggy bits. If it's a bit rough, don't worry, because the paint will cover a lot of it. It just gives me a chance to just take off a little bit. I've got any better examples. This one's actually got slightly damaged as I've uncut it, but I will fix that with some super glue. It's not the end of the world. The Necrons are very, very fragile. What I'm looking for is just anything. Now it feels okay. I can just scrape off a little bit. Okay? And that's what that does. Sometimes it's a big bit and you'll be like scraping a chunk off where it just hasn't cut clean. So the next step, personally, is this. So you need to get in the case of a Necron Warrior, these two shoulder holes dealt with, you have a weapon. So what you want to do is, first and foremost, you want to build the weapon hand. So you can see here he's holding a handle. There's a hole on the back here. Now everything can be push fit. So you push it together, you push it in, and it will all go together nicely. I prefer to glue. So there's the debate. Push fit, you can change the weapon if you want to. Once you glue it, you can't. I prefer to glue it because I like it to be stable and it's easier to paint and a bit more durable. It's up to you. What paint glue do I use? I normally just use cheap super glue. I like it in this kind of bottle. It's easier to fix when it's glued up. It's easier to get it out gradually. Plastic glue will melt the plastic slightly. I wouldn't use that on anything small and fragile, although it was great for when I was building a wall. So I'm going to... Now, the reason I said I had lots of problems when I did it wrong, you see this hole, the angle of that little semicircle. You put in one of these and it goes in one particular way round, that way. Now, if it's a different one, they're all slightly different angles to make it give different action poses. So if you've got the wrong gun or the wrong arm, it won't line up with those two holes. This one, obviously I've done the right ones, it does. This is the mistake that I learned the hard way. So as I said, I'm going to glue mine. So how much glue do I use? Very, very little bit. Very small. I'll just put a bit on here. Just a little bit. And then I push that gently into there. There you go. That's that bit done. I'll give that a moment to dry. Now, I personally, at this point, want to now do the head. It's going to go in there, and you'll see there's these little teeny weeny little bits here and on the back of his head. Now, if you line it up right, it will fit together quite seamlessly, like so. And you can choose which angle you want it at. Again, I like to glue. So I'm going to tiny bit of glue, just a tiny bit. Get it in the hole, get your head. This is probably the most fiddly little head you're ever going to have to deal with in Warhammer. Line it up. Choose your little angle. Oh, sorry, line it up, choose your little angle. Push, little push. His head is now stuck. Okay? Now, we come back to this bit. This bit's dried. I need these to stick in there, and then the chest piece will seal it shut. As I said, they're quite fragile at this stage. Once they're built, they're fine. So I am going to put some glue in each shoulder hole. Okay? Now again, this is personal preference. You can just push fit. That's the point of these new easy build Warhammer models. And then I'm going to hold that in there until it's stuck. I give it a little nudge, get it in there nice and firm. And if you've got it right, it will sit. If you've got the wrong one, it won't. Okay. Then while that's doing that, I'm going to put a bit of glue around all the seams. I'm using just a tiny bit. I want the seams to stick. It drives me a bit mad if you've got like lines along the chest panel. It hasn't stuck right. Tiny little bit. Tiny, tiny. You get that in. You get that. It lines up and it will pin the arms into place. See there? There we go. and it's in. Now, you can add a little pressure if you want, just to help the glue take. I actually find these need very little pressure compared to the Space Marine figures. They're more fragile, but they need less force. And then once that's done, all you gotta do is stick it to your base. The peg goes in there, and your figure is done. Now, I choose to base mine differently, so I won't stick to that just yet. But that's the idea. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. How to build a Necron Warrior. Then from there, once you've done one, you just do the rest one at a time. As you see by the length of this video, it takes a while. But there you have it. So if you liked that, do subscribe, do like this video. Let me know anything else you might like. I'm a beginner. I'm trying to help out people with the same experiences I've had. Do check out my magic videos, my magic tutorials, maybe see some cool tricks there as well. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you around. See you next time. Bye.